How did you go about casting this? I've got to say, this was one of the best casting jobs I've ever seen. Where did you find these guys, aside from obviously Ice Cube's son? Where did you find these guys, and how long did it take to find them?
We scoured the planet Earth. We did.
My God.
Yeah, Cindy Toland, our casting director, Vicki Thomas, really did a great job at looking every different city around this country, even going to the UK to look for NWA. It took us 2 years to find these guys. And although we hired Ice Cube's son, he had to work the hardest to get the role.
Isn't that always the way?
It is. The coach's son has to play the hardest.
Yes.
I think Cube says that. And it's true, you know. We can't just give you this role because you have to carry an entire movie. So Jason did a great job. Shay does an amazing job. So does Corey. These guys stepped up, and they are NWA. And that was the hardest part of making the movie, is finding the guys.
Well, how do you take this iconic piece of history and put it into these 2 hours? What was the process for you as a filmmaker?
That was the other hardest part.
Yeah.
So with all of all the choices, you know, it's just it was an embarrassment of riches when it comes to storytelling, to choose all of these moments, all these stories, all the controversy and the drama. But you know, we did. I think we did a good job. But it was hard to kind of narrow it down.
I think
they call it director's cut.
Yeah, right. I know that this is one of those rare movies where you're sitting through it, and I was like, "Wait, that's it? I want more."
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That worked.
Well, I think a big part of that is the music sequence, is the concerts. That Detroit is unbelievable. How did you put that together, and how long did it take to make that what it is?
Yeah, it took a while to make that work, and it was one of the biggest sequences in the movie. It was so hard to plan and prep and coordinate, and you know, because it's still a period piece. You know, so you have to work with not only your cast, but your extras, and they have to dress right, and the hairstyles and all this type of stuff, and just the controversy. And we had real cops. It was real on-duty LAPD officers playing Detroit cops. So, you know, when they're doing the song, first of all, they did, you know, I actually have to give a shout out to them because they were good sports. Because they're performing this song, you know, fuck the police, and they're there, and they're still active officers, and they were good sports about, you know, because they know it's history, and they just kind of stepped up, and they were great about it.
Finding that right music and finding the right tone, it seems like an impossible project. It just seems impossible, but there's a real sense of realism here, but there's also a lot of humor.
Yes.
Finding that balance, how did you do that?
There's always going to be humor in my movies. It's just, I can't escape it. With drama comes humor, and I think it really accentuates and sets up and frames the drama when something's funny. And that's just how we grew up. We grew up in extreme times with extreme moments. Either something's really, really funny or really serious. You know, you don't get a lot of in between, and that's, you know, where this movie lives. You laugh, you cry, you dance, you have a good time, but that's what this movie is, and I think, you know, we delivered it.
Okay, this is such an iconic tale. This is such an iconic story. For you, I mean, obviously you've been a part of it, but what was the most exciting part for you was it Detroit? What part just clicked with you?
It was Detroit for me. I just love the concert scenes because the energy was just magnetic, you know? The energy was just there, man. We got to actually be we felt like rock stars, to be honest, man. And it was good to just see my brothers just kind of get up there and just rock it. And I'm back there on the tables just kind of kicking it, you know what I mean? They just moving the crowd and it just felt, you could feel it when you watch the movie, you know what I mean? You could feel it through the screen. It's just electric, you know?
Detroit was, of course, fun, but my favorite part to film, at least, was Skateland. You know, that was like our first performance as a group. And the shot that they used is when the director, Gary Gray, let us improv, let us go off script, do what you want, get the crowd involved, just go. Yeah. And for it to make the movie, and it was like us telling Gary, this is what you in for, man. You know, you get ready. And he prepared us.
What about you finding the essence of Eazy-E? How did you find that?
Oh man, they had so many great things to say about him. They had so many people who stepped up and made sure they sowed so many great things into my life. But aside from that, me and his life was so much alike, you know, and his opportunity was so much like my opportunity. And you know, when people see Eazy-E, they see somebody who came from the hood and turned into this. You know, he's like a bigger than life type of person. And that's all I want to be, you know, is inspiration to people. So hopefully when people watch this movie, they, you know, the people who live to see Eazy-E will say, damn.
Right.
You know, like Jason, he, not only did he embody this, but he took this huge opportunity and, you know, killed it, you know, and that's what's up.
You coming from, this is your first time in a role, which is unbelievable. How did you approach it? I mean, what... Obviously, you know where you're playing.
Yeah, right.
What was it like?
Well, over 20 years of research. You know? Gary took me. You know, my father and Gary have known each other for a while. Yeah, my father gave Gary his first movie with Friday, so it's just like a full circle with him bringing me onto my first movie. He wanted to make sure I was right. He got me my acting coaches. I had 2 years of auditioning for the role, and just to make it to a chemistry test where I meet these guys, you know, and we establish what you see here today.
Right.
So it was him putting me through the ringer, him making sure that I got everything was earned and not given. And I appreciate that from Gary.
Guys, I gotta say, I think a lot of people, everyone in the audience last night was so touched and so moved because a lot of us, we saw it through the media.
Yeah.
You lived it. Mm-hmm. What was the hardest part about kind of taking it on and kind of reliving that in a way?
Well, you know, it was, I mean, it was a joy to relive it because we were doing it in such a classic way. You know, we were, you know, at a great studio, you know, with the money we needed to tell this great story. And so, you know, it was actually fun to put the scenes together. It was hard, it was challenging, and you know, when I see it played back, I'm able to really absorb it, and I enjoyed it just as much as the audience.
Yeah. What about you?
I mean, we did a great job. I mean, we happen to have a great story. There's laughter, there's crying, there's seriousness. The concert scenes is just incredible. I mean, it reminded us like, wow, that's how we look. I mean, we did a wonderful job on the movie, and it might help a new artist. Like, okay, I want to do this, but do what you want to do. Don't stop. Just do it.
Well, I think it also, your music is just as important as it was then as it is today. Do you feel that? Do you feel that there's things are changing for you as musicians?
I mean, as an artist, you know, things have evolved for me, you know, but the stuff that I was rapping about, the situation in Compton, and a lot of inner cities have, you know, in some cases stayed the same, but in a lot of cases gotten worse. So, you know, the stuff that we're saying is still so relevant to today that, you know, that part is a shame, you know, but what's great is we got a movie that is a slice of American history that people can really kind of see what it took to get to this point, and hopefully it inspired them.
I think also you were talking about the music, that Detroit scene.
Yeah.
That the audience, that kills the audience.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What was that like to shoot? I mean, it's
was
incredible.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
You know, I was like a fan because, you know, we were on stage and we didn't get a chance to see how it looked. We didn't see how dynamic we were, and to see that it was still just as dynamic, you know, when we were shooting it. I can imagine how I felt in 1989. So it just was, you know, some of the best parts of filming the movie was reliving the concerts.
How much were you involved on set and talking to these guys and showing them the way and giving them advice?
I was there even before the filming. I was in the productions, showing them pictures, all the equipment. I happen to be the only one that remember all the equipment in the studio. I mean, every little piece. I was like, well, this, you know, tell them it looked like this. The board looked like this, and then the clothes. What kind of clothes? What kind of shoes? What kind of shirt? You know, just, and then talking to the actor, just, that blew me away because he knew me better than I knew myself. And they all actors did a great job.